Ya voy a admitir a la gente.
Ya solo que los... Ok. There. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Women in STEM Fields event. My name is Edith Melendez and I am the Education USA Advisor in San Luis Potosí, Mexico. Today we start with this series of 3 webinars which are aimed to create awareness about the scope, challenges and opportunities for women in the STEM fields. And we attempt to increase women's interest into these fields. Please bear in mind that this event is not exclusive for students, but for anyone interested into knowing more about the role of women in STEM, especially in Mexico and in the United States. Well, as I already mentioned, this is the first of 3 sessions that we're going to have during this week celebrating International Education Week. Today's topic is exploring career options and job opportunities for women in STEM. And well, we have, let me, before we start, let me tell you a little bit more about Education USA. Education USA is a network from the Department of State of the United States, and we are here to help anyone that is interested into going to study to the United States. We work under a framework of 5 steps, which go from research your options to prepare you for your departure. We have 26 centers across Mexico, across the country, and well, you can reach to any one of these centers if you want to get more information about how to study in the United States. All of our services are for free, so we really invite you to visit us, to contact us through social media or through our main website. Well, let's start with this. Today we have the honor to have in here 4 amazing women as our panelists. We're going to listen from their experiences. So if you have any questions that you want to address to any one of them, we ask you to please direct your questions into the chat box to questions and answers, Yandy Reynoso. And if you're watching us from Facebook, you can also type your questions into the comments. One of the panelists that is today with us is Carolina Mendez. She is an industrial engineer and that is now working at Valeo Automotive Systems in Poland. She graduated from Instituto Tecnológico Nacional and she had the opportunity to participate into an exchange program at the University of Texas. She was also an English teacher at the English department in the University of San Luis Potosí. Our other panelist is Laura Segura, who is research and development manager in Movimientos team. She has been working for more than 10 years in the creation, operation, and management of projects for nonprofit organizations that work with educational strategies, particularly aimed to women, disabilities, entrepreneurship, and promotion of STEM education. With us today is also Mercedes Sanchez. She holds a master's in geography by the UNAM, and she's the former coordinator of the Meteorito project. She participated as in the International Visitors Leadership Program in the program of Empowering Women Leaders in STEM in 2019. The IBLP program is a program from the Department of State where you can only participate by invitation. We also have Alicia Santiago. She's the former founder of Twin Cities PBS Sci Girls, and she's also a STEM educator. She holds a PhD in cellular and developmental biology by the University of California, Davis. She's a scientist and consultant in diversity and inclusion in STEM. So they are our panelists today. So we really appreciate that you are here making this event happen. Well, we will start with a brief introduction to what is STEM. So our panelist, Laura, is going to tell us a little introduction about this topic. Please, Laura.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. As already mentioned, I am Laura Segura. I am the manager for research and development in Movimientos team. I've been part of this institution for about 3 years now. Actually, Movimientos team was the way that I got to know about STEM education and the importance of it. Here's like general information about what you should know and why STEM and STEM are important in today's society. If we could take a look at the world that we are living on these days, if we can have like the next slide, please. Okay, so I don't know if you were aware about this situation, but by the year 2050, we will be adding 2 billion hungry people to the world. So this situation is very preoccupying because, you know, our country is not a very well served country. So we are actually in a bit of risk, not the whole country, but a huge part of its population. And there are at least the possibility of at least 1 in 4 people living in a country affected by chronic and repeated shortages of fresh water, which is again a big risk that we are running in our country. And half of the world's population lives on the equivalent of $2 a day. So we have poverty, we have hunger, and we have no water access. Please, the next slide. So we are talking about complying the 2030 agenda. And right now, this generation between 9 and 19 years old is the one that could end extreme poverty and the last one that can mitigate the effects of climate change. So we are right at the decade of action. So if we are not working towards some of the goals by 2050, we are going to have like the no return point. So what we cannot achieve at that time is going to affect the way that the world looks right now. So please, the next slide. Besides this 2030 agenda problem, we have the COVID-19 crisis, which is we didn't have this on the map, and even if we were considering like we were gonna have like a tough situation with a pandemic, experts did not have like this the whole panorama that we're seeing right now, as about 500 million jobs are being lost due to COVID, and this is the calculated ones, because of course, as best estimated, we have this number, but we are actually not really sure how many more jobs are going to be affected. Please, the next slide. So we have also the 4th industrial revolution. Could we have the next slide, please? Okay, so there is this, well, of course, we all know about artificial intelligence and all the things that it can achieve. There is this this technology called Watson by IBM, which provides legal advice and detects serious illnesses with 90% accuracy. This means we might have some of the jobs that doctors are holding right now being replaced in the next years, and also some of the activities that lawyers do in their day-to-day lives. We also have this autonomous transportation already being a reality right now. Drones are already delivering parcels, and we also have driverless cars. So this is like a very futuristic view that we might have had a few years back, but right now it's already a reality. And it is expected that 10% of everything that's being produced in the world will be 3D painted, and this 3D printed, sorry. So this is something that's already happening. There is already a building made of, well, it's printed, not built. So this is something that's already in our faces. So the next slide, please. This fourth industrial revolution is going to impact about 5% of full jobs and 45% of work activities. And this is by only softwares that can perform some of the activities. And for the young people that are watching this right now, we have no idea what you are going to be doing in the near future, because 65% of the jobs that the Z generation will be holding are jobs that do not exist yet. And we also have this information by Manpower Group that 52% of employers in Mexico cannot find the talent that they need. So universities are graduating students, and industry is needing a talent, but they are not crossing paths. Please, the next slide. Okay, so one of the things that is of great importance in this session is the gender problematic, because according to the International Development Bank, the segregation of adolescents and young people in certain areas of study and work limits their employment opportunities. And this phenomenon becomes more critical when we analyze it on a gender perspective. And we can see that in our country, from people that are aged 25 to 45, in the 20 highest paid occupations, only 36% are women. And in the 10 occupations with the lowest pay, 64% are women. So if we see, this is a very serious situation. And if we go back to what we were seeing with COVID-19 and the impact that is going to have, we were looking at 54% of the total job losses that COVID is going to provoke to stop. Those 54% are women. And if we consider that women are a part of the industries that are most affected by COVID, and that, well, there is all these social, well, maybe not all of them are losing their jobs, but they do have the most impact when talking about how they organize their job and the family and all that. So all that can be pretty serious for our gender. So what are we doing right now? Please, can we have the next slide? Okay, so STEM is the global trend that promotes the teaching of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics as pillars for sustainable development and social well-being. This STEM is already being part of education for about 20 or so years, and it started actually in the United States. And right now, this STEM tendency has been adding the A for arts to highlight the presence of creative thinking and the development of social emotional skills. So there we have STEM. Whether it is STEM or STEAM, it goes beyond grouping these subjects, and it is a movement that deeply develops scientific and mathematical thinking with a focus on innovation. It proposes problem-based learning and develops essential skills to complete in the 21st century world of work with a social and inclusive vision. Please, the next slide. Okay, so I just wanted to let you know that the competencies that STEM promotes do not actually mean that they are all technical skills. They are mostly skills that help you work as a team and that mainly make your job or whatever you're doing be differentiated from what a machine can do, and actually to be able to work as a team, to communicate, to do different kinds of things in a way that a program or a robot cannot do. So yeah, that will be it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laura, for this short explanation. And before starting with our panel, we would like you please to participate into a poll that we have prepared for you. Please read this question and tell us where you're joining us from.
You can also type in the chat if you cannot see the poll. Where are you joining from?
Thanks everyone who participated. So some of the results, most of you are from Mexico, but we do also have participants from North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. So thank you everyone for joining us today.
So thank you, everyone. So just as a short reminder, if you have any questions that you want to address to our panelists, please write them on the chat or on the comments if you're watching from Facebook. Okay, well, so let's begin with the questions that we prepared for our panelists. We expect that they share some of their job experiences and career experiences with these questions. So the first one, we would like to hear from you, Alicia and Laura. How did you choose your field of study in STEM?
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you, Alicia.
Yeah, hola. Hi, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here today. I'm excited. And let me tell you about this. Actually, I think in my case, it was a combination of maybe 3-4 different things. I would say my interest, personal experiences, opportunities that I had available to me, and good people that were always around me, and role models and mentors that shaped me and shaped my career, helped shape my career path and my STEM pathway. So I think that's really what helped me. Those were really important things that play a key role in choosing my STEM career. I'm a biologist. I went on to study developmental neurobiology, which I love. I always had a passion for science since I was really young, maybe from age 5 or 6. I've always been curious about the natural world, especially animals, plants, and actually microorganisms. So I love the microscope, and I love really studying tiny little things. When I was studying in Mexico, I actually worked in El Sinvestav in El Politécnico, and I was working with amoebas, and it was absolutely wonderful. So I think I just want to add that, yeah, I've always had this passion for science. So from a very young age, I knew I wanted to be a scientist. I just actually love it. I've always had questions. I was always doing little experiments under my mom's lavadero, you know, the sink, under my mom's sink, and mixing all sorts of things, and agua, aceite, and all sorts of things, and doing crazy experiments. So I just knew I was really curious about the world and answering questions. Everything was just amazing to me, and I always had all these questions. So I wanted to be a scientist. I wanted to study biology, but throughout the path. I went for a career in biology, but at the same time, I was lucky enough to had mentors and people around me that really helped me shape that path and provided me with lots of opportunities and great advice. So if there's something that that really made it an impact, it was truly the people around me and mentors. So that's how I chose. I've always liked science, but the people around me and opportunities, right? I also, when I moved to the US, I actually had a scholarship from the Mexican government, CONACYT, that allowed me to pursue my studies. But along that path, I always had people and other opportunities, work opportunities in research laboratories and meeting great people. It's what really pushed me to continue and do science. So I would say good mentors, role models, passion for science, and that's a lot of it.
Really interesting. Laura? We cannot listen to you, Laura. You're muted.
Okay, so actually, I am not a scientist. You must know that. My training is as a psychologist. I've worked in civil organizations since the beginning of my career, and the way that I approached STEM and STEAM have been from civil society organizations. And when I learned about Movimiento STEAM and everything that goes around STEAM education, I was convinced of the power of transformation that STEM education has, and that it has to be promoted. We cannot have many more administrators, and we cannot have more lawyers, because as we saw right now, lawyers can be replaced by some kind of technology. And it's not that we don't need it, but they are not going to have many opportunities along the way. So we need to promote these careers. And I've always been interested in science. In my family, all my sisters are in STEAM fields. In my family, education has always been very important. And we know that once we get educated, we can help. Of course, we learn many things. We create our culture, and we can also help the world become a better place, because we can get employed, we can help the economy, and we can also, if we do these STEM careers, we can also physically help develop projects that do have an impact in the world. And when I was in high school, I was in biological and health sciences, and I did hear about the careers and that they were interesting and all. And the ones that sounded, really novel and that really technological, they were not being represented by women. So all the people that were in those careers, or that were interested in those careers, were the guys. So that kind of didn't, that and the fact that they did seem very difficult to me. So I said, no, I'm not gonna be brave enough and take it. And then, I did regret it a couple of times back. I did try to enter a master in science, and it was really hard for me because I didn't follow the paths that I should have. And so I was already in education when that happened. So I decided that I was going to continue on that. And when I got to Movimiento STEM, it was like, yay, everything's clicking here. So I got lucky, actually, to be in this institution.
Great. So don't think it's hard, guys. Okay, keep going for it. Okay, thank you very much. Then, Caro, could you please tell us what skills or competencies do women need to develop for STEM careers and jobs?
Yes, of course. Hello, everyone. And basically, you know, I know that this event is mostly focused for girls, but I see also that we have some male participants. So I will say that these competences and skills apply for everyone. In my personal experience, they have really helped. So I will say that mainly it will be perseverance, motivation, and confidence. So it's basically that you know that you want something, you have a dream, you have always wanted something since you were, I don't know, maybe little. So it's the point that you have to push yourself, you have to all the time try and work hard for what you want. So, and me, right now I'm working in Europe, in Poland. So it was all the time, you know, my dream to live abroad or to have some experience outside Mexico. So all the time, my mind was, you know, leading me to this. So I believe that all these are for me the key competencies or skills for everyone, right? For, of course, for girls as well, right? For boys, for girls.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you for joining us from Poland right now. We know it's too late there, so we really appreciate you're here.
Yes,
and I don't know, Laura, would you like to give us your opinion also in here?
Yeah, sure. So, well, as we know, it sounds like boys and girls do have different abilities, and we all know now that it's mostly this social background that we have. So both men and women must develop the same activities, of course, if it resonates with their interests, and to participate in STEM careers. The thing is that we have to promote these competencies in a stronger way on women. So when we study about what they should be learning and what they should be doing to propel this interest in STEM, well, we learned that about 9% of Mexican girls are planning to choose a career in STEM. So they are really few, and if we compare it to the 28% of boys, it's still a very long number, but it's about a third of who wants to be choosing these careers. And of course, we prefer biological sciences because they are more nurturing than the very harsh and cold, you know, engineering careers. So we also go to economic and administrative areas, and of course men go to the engineering world, to the physical mathematical sciences, and architecture is, you know, both men and women go there, but they are like how we balance those between genders. And well, of course, as we know, there is no physiological reference to how men and women should be performing in this in STEM. So the challenge is that we need to collect and share information of what's going on around the world and classrooms. Because it's not only about our countries that are not studying enough STEM, it's a worldwide situation, and about 30% of women are pursuing these careers, opposite to that 70% of men that are doing so. So what we need to promote among these generations is the competencies that are the ones that the World Economic Forum determined that are the ones that can help us succeed in the 21st century. They are critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, communication, collaboration, data literacy, and digital literacy and computer sciences. So as we saw, only one of them is quite, well, two of them are technical, and the rest are, they can be developed through project-based learning and this kind of active methodologies in education.
Thank you. Okay, well, Mercedes, can you please tell us a little bit about what would you consider your most significant job accomplishment to date?
Of course, thank you, Edith. Well, as Edith mentioned, my name is Mercedes. I am a geographer, and I think that my most significant career accomplishment to date was my participation as coordinator of Meteorito program. Meteorito is an educational program that, through experimentation, sparks interest and taste for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and at the same time, creates an awareness among participants about climate change. I was working as a program coordinator with Hacedores, a company that improves education using STEM, and with the US Embassy in Mexico. During the course, students can learn about air temperature, atmospheric pressure in millibars and pascals, relative humidity, presence of clouds, precipitation, wind speed and direction, UV radiation, water contamination, and air pollution. So 67 girls and 40 boys, 25 teachers, and 25 public secondary schools participated. The sessions were held in Mexico City in 2017 and 2018. As I say, the program was designed by the Hacedores Educational Interdisciplinary Team, in which I worked as coordinator. The classes, the tutorials, the resources are available to anyone who wants to collect some or all the topics or experiments for their daily classes at meteorito.mx. I am very happy to have been part of this project because that had me the opportunity to meet great students, boys and girls, teachers, and to share my passion for science and to geography.
Well, thank you, amazing. Congratulations, Mercedes.
Thank you.
That's a great accomplishment. Caro, could you please tell us also about your most significant job accomplishment to date?
Yes, of course. So I think for me, the culmination of my dream was to work in another country. So initially, I need to say that I had many dreams and many dreams that had been accomplished. So one of them was, of course, initially when I went to the US and I got a scholarship to study in the summer engineering development program. That it was maybe not very much connected to like science, but it was connected to engineering, the most practical and technical knowledge. So I need to say that all of these things that were done previously helped me to get to where I am right now. Right now, as Edith mentioned at the beginning, I am working for Valeo. It's an automotive company, and I'm working right now in Poland. Previously I was working in Valeo, Mexico, in San Luis Potosí, for about 5 years. I got initially the opportunity to come here and to take part in a special training for girls, for women, right? Because the idea was to help the women to get to better positions within companies. So after I just applied, I wanted to come back and to have this international experience. And I need to say that for me, it's very happy to be working with an international team, because I need to say that even if we are in Europe, I am not the only person that is from abroad. So it's very nice to work with people from different places and to be able to adapt to a different working methodology, right?
environment.
So, yes, different. Of course, a different language. Of course, with English is very easy, but it for me is something that I enjoy every day, and I remember myself that this is what I wanted. So for me, this is the best accomplishment every day. And of course, this is not the end, right? Of course, all the time we need to work and to have new dreams and to push ourselves to keep developing and to keep growing professionally and personally as well.
Great, congratulations too. Alicia, I don't know if you want to add something also?
Oh, I love listening to everybody. I think it's really interesting how we all have different experiences. And I was thinking about that question, like, what is my most significant accomplishment, job accomplishment? And it's really interesting. It's like, I can't really speak about a one thing, right? I have to be honest, it's like fun. And I guess I'm proud of lots of little accomplishments, or maybe not so little, I don't know, but they felt significant at the time. So, from the point where I knew I wanted to be a biologist and study neuroscience. And so to me, a big dream was getting a PhD. So you get to that point and it's really wonderful. You think, this is it, I got it. But then you get to the point and it's like, oh, wait a second, there's more. I want to do more. So publishing, for example, original research, doing experiments in the laboratory, and just had the feeling of, discovering and discovering something that nobody else knew and ever, right? That you're producing, discovering things and publishing original research. That was very fascinating. And I saw that as an accomplishment as well. And then moving along in my career also, it was very interesting. At some point, I switched gears. I went from an academic environment and working in a laboratory to giving it a try and working for a nonprofit organization. And it was really challenging in the sense that I remember thinking, oh, wait a second, the only thing I know how to do is being a scientist. What am I going to do in an office, and on how is this going to work out? And it was fascinating. It was wonderful. It was a great challenge getting to work in this nonprofit where I had to help people put together projects that were devoted to engaging Hispanics and Latinos in the US, especially women and young girls in STEM and STEAM. And that was really fascinating, right? It's just having all these different challenges, and then you go, I guess you could say, one accomplishment to the next one and the next one. And as Carolina and everybody was saying, it's like I guess it never ends. There's all these really fun steps that as you continue on your path, you realize, you want to do more, you want to explore, you're curious about these things, you set goals that you just, they keep you going, which I think it's fascinating. So yeah, I guess just, people that are interested in STEM, and set your goals and just keep moving along and doing fun things and taking advantage of all sorts of opportunities.
Thank you. And yeah, it's amazing to realize that once that you get one accomplishment, you can set another goal. So that's amazing. Thank you very much. Okay, we have our next question. Mercedes, could you help us with this one? What do you consider the key factors to your professional experience?
The key factors. Okay, well, what I've done to succeed and advance in my career is my love for what I do. I love geography, and I love to share my passion for it, as I mentioned before, with my students and with anyone. Also, I think it's very important to celebrate and acknowledge achievements of my own and those of others. Also, I think it's very important to learn of mistakes, be resilient, and be better every day. I know sometimes it's difficult, but never feel inferior. Instead, be persistent. I am always ready when the opportunity presents itself. I think it is important to keep your eyes open for any opportunity and to act upon seeing one. When I received the notice that I could travel to the United States for the program Empowering Women in STEM, I did not hesitate. I took the opportunity and did anything to have access to that program. Also, I think that it is very important to believe in ourselves. Never take anything personally. So you can be yourself and embrace yourself. Also, I love to learn, so I am persistent. I learn to communicate with others. I always wanted to be the best that I could or can be. I don't know if that is okay, but I always want to be the best in everything. When I was a little girl, I always had a vision of me as a great professionist, reaching my dreams to study in the best university. I study at UNAM. So I think it is important to follow your dreams, work hard to reach it.
Great. Well, and now that you mentioned your participation into the IBLP program, how do you think or how do you consider that this program impacted your professional development?
Well, I received the notice that I received the good news that the State Department invited me to visit their country as part of the program Hidden No More, Empowering Women in STEM. So my professional career was impacted in a very positive way. I visited Washington, D.C., Greensboro, LA, and Chicago. Also, I met 49 amazing professional and scientist women from all the world that who, like me, have worked hard to be great women. Definitely is one of my best experiences in life because I had the opportunity to visit university, museums, panel discussion, Disneyland, and many, many places. That trip changed my life because I learned to recognize myself as an important, valuable woman with an enormous responsibility to share my story and to share the much or the little knowledge that I have with girls and women.
Great, amazing. Then Alicia, and how would you say that your education in the US impacted your professional development?
Oh, wow. Interesting. So I guess starting from having the opportunity to work in the US, I graduated from La UNAM in Iztacala, Biología, and then I moved to the US and to do some research in California. I was really interested in getting a PhD, and I did. So after that, it was really like a waterfall, I guess. It was just really one thing coming after the other, searching opportunities. With a PhD, I was of course able to do postdoctoral research that I was very much interested in, and actually my skills as a scientist led me into the field of informal STEM or STEAM education, which is something that I really didn't. At the beginning, I didn't really, it was hard to imagine, right? I was very much interested in science. I became interested in science education. But in a way, thanks to all those, hard work and getting my degrees and going to conferences, right? That all led me to get to be successful in different things and allow me to do all sorts of things and work in this nonprofit that I was telling you about. I started collaborating with that's another interesting thing, right? Networking. So all these things that I was doing allow me to collaborate with a lot of people, and Mercedes and Carolina and other people have talked about that, how all the things that we've done in a way, led us to meet these really wonderful people, collaborate with them, and then you see all these different new opportunities. For example, in my work now, I collaborate with Twin Cities Public Television, and we do all sorts of programming to engage young women in science, which is absolutely wonderful. Also having the opportunity through the Department of State of becoming a Fulbright fellow and getting a Fulbright award was absolutely fascinating. This is a wonderful experience that I actually recommend to anybody, to everybody, which is really traveling abroad, right? And as a research scientist, and as an educator in STEAM or STEM diversity and equity, I was able to help different education professionals from other parts of the world, and including teachers, educators, program designers, and so forth. and help them to make the programs more effective. But at the same time, it was a learning experience. How what they do and what works in their countries helps me, right, to take it back here right now to the US and make my programs even better. So those are absolutely wonderful experiences. You know, sharing expertise and experiences both ways it's fantastic. So that's yeah. So that's been just wonderful.
Great. Thank you very much. In fact, we will talk about what you're doing a little bit more, all of you in general, during our last question. So that's going to be your opportunity to deep into that. Okay. Caro, according to your experience, what job opportunities can women in STEM may find? You were mentioning this program that was aimed to increase women participation into the place where you work. What else can you tell us about it?
Well, yes, I think that currently companies are quite engaged in increasing the percentage of women that are taking high positions. So in my case, it was like that. So I had the opportunity to be part of one special program for ladies. And so I believe that in the field of engineering and automotive or private companies, I think it could be quite easy to find opportunities like this, like mine. So it's just a matter of raising your hand and saying, okay, I'm interested. This is what I want to do. I would like to also to be part of something like this, because sometimes we can be very surprised that it's not very appealing to everyone. So it's just, saying I am interested, I would like to, this is my dream. So within the private sector, I think is easy, right? Especially now that we live in a global world, right? Globalized world. So it's very easy to move from one place to another, and if you really want to. As well, not talking about maybe job opportunities, but talking, for example, about experiences to study in another place or in the US. So I think that as well, there are many opportunities like the ones that they right now they are being promoted by Education USA. So I think that my recommendation is that maybe even if it's not everything like so clear, or is we might think that there are not a lot of opportunities. There are. So it's just a matter of looking and asking. And as Alicia mentioned at the beginning, that networking is very important. So I think it is very extremely important. So it's just, being surrounded by the right people, by mentors that can also help us to lead to this, to perform and to achieve our goals.
Great, thank you. So we can find many more if we go for them, right?
Yes. If I can speak from the private sector, from companies, I think, as I mentioned, there is a big engagement from companies to increase, to level to balance, right, the number of women that are right now in high positions. So I think it's even the one ruled by the government, if I'm not mistaken, within the private sector. So it's very important, as I said, to raise your hand, right, to say, I want to be part of, I'm really interested, this is one of my dreams, and go ahead. Nothing can stop you.
Great, thank you. Okay, well, now talking about this, how will you inspire women to participate in STEM? Caro.
Well, I will need to say that sometimes I think that even if we have, like Alicia said also, I agree with many of her points, but maybe all of our achievements for us seem like, oh, I have done this, I have done that. So I really hope so that the things that I have been able to achieve motivate a lot of boys or girls to continue, right? To continue to achieve their goals. I need to say that in my case, all the time, I was, you will not let me lie because we were working together. So all the time, I was trying to find for these opportunities. Everything that all the advices that we have shared, those are the ones that really have worked for me. Looking, talking to people, saying that you're interested in moving, saying that you're interested in taking part in a special program. So I hope so that my background and all the achievements that I have done in the past help other people, to help women to really get inspired and pursue the dreams, right? So I think that I really hope that also such kind of events like these ones with such amazing women will help everyone to continue and to pursue their dreams.
Thank you. Thank you. Then Mercedes, what could you tell us? How will you inspire women to participate in STEM?
Well, personally, currently I am developing an educational project. I call it STEM for All, or STEM para Todas. Its purpose is to bring maker education, workshops, and STEM education to low-income areas in the city, Mexico City, at the same time creating a free and safe space where women can develop their creativity. I think, as Carolina mentioned, the key is eliminating stereotypes, because usually the attendance, I'm also a teacher, and I used to work in a maker space, and the attendance of boys to robotics or programming classes is bigger than girls. This is replicated in the study of engineering or science, such as physics, even though many girls and women love these things. I think it's important to, as mentioned, all of my panelist mates. I think it's important to create a networking or a network by. It is important to create an immediate circle of support for girls. That it can be the same family or close friends who encourage girls to continue in STEM activities and careers.
Thank you. And continue with it. Let us know a little bit more about
it.
And Alicia, please.
Yeah, how would I inspire? Actually, I really like what Mercedes was talking about getting surrounded by a network of support. That's really, really important. I'll tell you later or in a minute about the work that I do. But I think, as we were talking earlier, how would you inspire people? Well, I guess with women, and it happened to me as you get into the field of science, you know, sometimes, or a lot of the times, it's not easy. And that goes with everything, right? Sometimes it's not easy. And I had many occasions where I thought I didn't fit, that this was not for me. And I remember sitting, you know, at the university, Mexican drama, as my husband says now, it was crying because I was really isolated at some point. I felt like, you know, I'm here with all these grad students, but they don't understand me, and I'm struggling with certain things, and I felt really down. And I wish I had people like you and the panelists talking to me at that point, because I had to figure it out on my own. I had to you know, just build the strength to move on and continue. But again, going back to what I was telling earlier, role models and people that were around me, that I always had good people that helped me, and this network, right, of support was key. So the one thing I would let anybody, not only women, men, anybody who wants to go into these careers, and of course especially women, is just never give up. And men may and just be aware that yeah, it's a challenge, and that you're going to fail more than once, because that's just the part of that's how it works. But failure is really just an opportunity for learning, right, and success. So if you keep that in your mind, you can do whatever you want. You know, we all fail, we all learn, and we just keep moving. And what other friends here, panelist friends, were talking about, just, you know, perseverance, grit, that's really what makes you pursue and go have your goals, your dreams, and then don't let anything you know, impact that. And yeah, there's stereotypes, there's lots of things, we're challenging them, and we'll just have to continue doing that. But you just have to follow your dream and get surrounded by the right people, take all the opportunities you have, go out there, search, but also, you know, get help, talk to people, grow your network of support, and do everything you can to succeed, because you will.
Thank you. I don't know if you want to mention something about Side Girls.
Yeah, quickly, because I can talk up a storm here. I can make long stories super long, especially when it comes to my work. So just really briefly, if you see on the screen, so I collaborate with Twin Cities Public Television, as I was telling you, on a program that is actually absolutely fascinating. It's Side Girls, and I love it because what we do is we promote engagement. We want to engage young girls between the ages of 8-15 years old, middle school age girls in science, and we do this with lots of, you know, by using different approaches. One of them is TV. So there's a TV show where girls work with scientists or STEM professionals like Carolina or Mercedes and people on different projects. So you can see that it's a half-an-hour show, but we also have, you know, wonderful, there's also the internet site where we have games, and we have, and I'll put it on the chat, we have Side Girls Connect. So if you go to Side Girls Connect, there's also lots of resources for educators and parents and even students as well. So we develop lots of science activities that you can do at home or at after school programs or summer school and so forth. So we try to really get to girls at a young age, right? When they're forming their identity and they're straying away from science, right? Because it's right at that age where you either feel that you belong to science or you don't. So we're really trying to have an impact on their STEM identity and turn it into a positive STEM identity, right? And that's what we're trying to do with Side Girls. And what you see on the screen there are wonderful role models, just like the panelists that we talked to today. These are all sorts of wonderful STEM women that are following different STEM careers. And then I invite you to check them out. These are wonderful Side Girls profiles. All the work that we do is bilingual. So you'll see many of our STEM professionals, they speak Spanish, some English, some what I call Spanglish, which is wonderful. And so I invite you to check them out, because this is another way where you can see what STEM or STEAM has to offer in terms of career opportunities. There's lots of profiles. They're just like 3-minute videos where the different women talk about the profession and their personal experience, you know, and they're really, really kind of fun. So let me just put some of these. Oh, and I'll put really quickly, I'll put the links here, because I also work with another wonderful organization. It's called the National Girls Collaborative Project. And what we do here is we bring together organizations throughout the United States that are committed to informing and encouraging girls to pursue STEM careers. So I invite you to check them out. I see if I can, I think I did, I sent them. Yes, so I put the links to these organizations and the Side Girls Connect site there. And the last thing, and I'll shut up, I promise, is go to, there's FabFems, and this is international, actually, global database of wonderful women in the fields of STEM. So these are women that want to be there because they want to help you. They're role models. If you're interested or you're curious or you just have questions about science and technology, engineering, math, go to that site, look up for all these women that are there, because they're there to answer your questions. And you can interact with women from all over the world. We're trying to grow the database. So if pass the word around, my friend in Polonia right now, she can check it out and maybe be part of the team. And this is just the, talking about networking, just having all these wonderful women at all these different stages in their career, helping out other women and parents and other people and men and boys, right? To letting them know what their work is all about and all the things that they can accomplish. So I invite you to check out also the fatfems.org site, and that is it. But please let me know if you have any questions, anything, and I'll be happy to talk to anybody, any one of you, and help you out as much as I can in anything you need. Will Chelsea, thank you.
Thank you. And don't worry, the ones on Facebook, I think you can see the links right now too. And remember, we will share this information with you after the session too. Okay, and then Laura, how will you inspire women? So it's your turn, please.
Okay, thank you. Well, actually, I missed to tell you about Movimiento STEAM and what we do in general. We are a nonprofit organization that aims to promote STEAM education, the jobs of the future, and innovation with a social and inclusive vision in Mexico and also in Latin America. Here in the country, we lead the STEAM ecosystem, and we are endorsed by Global STEM Alliance and STEM Learning Ecosystems. Well, we have different initiatives to promote the participation of women in STEM. We have a program for companies to develop female STEM talent, as well as programs for upper secondary education students and one for universities. And we will be launching very soon, and by this I mean next year, an initiative to find and recognize extraordinary women in STEM. Of course, we'll be hopefully helping, having you help disseminating this initiative, because I believe some of the girls and women that we are talking to right now might be extraordinary examples of what we are looking for in a woman that is clearly being successful at a STEM career. And well, we also have a program that is actually really important for us, and we officially launched it for we launched it as an official program for vocational orientation for the Secretary of Education and the Subsecretary of high school. Well, I don't know how that would translate. Well, the upper secondary level. So it became an official program, and it's called the Inspiring Vocations in STEM. And it provides vocational guidance with stress on the importance of gender equality in STEM. And it has a career counseling talk, which is, it has the message of STEM careers not having gender, which professions are the ones with greatest economical potential, and the importance of an informed career decision. We also have this vocational orientation test, and we have a mentoring program with volunteers from different companies. And last year, it was not yet the official program for Secretary of Education, but we did a project to have this, to help 20,000 young men and women here, mainly in Mexico City and Estado de Mexico. And we measured the impact of the program, and when we compared the results from the treatment and the control groups, we saw that there is a 26% change in women interested in pursuing a STEM career. And we did this with girls, and well, we measured it for girls with in the last year of their upper secondary education. So this is a result that gives us a lot of information. We did this research project, and we launched it as the impact study Women Choosing STEM Careers. We did it with IPADE, which is with CIMAD from IPADE, which is the a research center for women in high decision, high leadership
Positions.
So this investigation proved that, well, we gave information about the whole ecosystem that has where the girls are developing, what messages they're finding, if they are being reflected on these STEM jobs or not in these careers. So we proved the power of giving this. It was, I don't want to say minimum information, because if they got involved, they could have many more things to the program. But by at least getting the conference, this information is being relevant, and if it's compelling, if it talks to them directly, if they find it interesting, they can really change the perspective. And of course, the life choices, which is what we want. So we also have this campaign to generate role models. We have in our YouTube channel, we have also stories of young men and women who have been a part of STEM. They are interviews, they are part of different companies that are our partners. So it's kind of present that they are also human beings, that they also have to make choices, that they have found their passion, and it happens to be a STEM passion. So it's really important to see it like that, because as we saw with the panelists today, it has to be part of who you are and what you want in life. It's not only about yeah, this sounds interesting. You have to see it as something like far beyond your occupation. So we also have we are creating the national strategy of STEM education, which is a very high level decision makers kind of compound, so that we can bring STEM education to the highest levels of conversation, and we can promote public policy to advance this development of STEM education, and as a whole, you know, everybody talking the same language, everybody taking actions together. And well, this first year, actually, the initiative is gonna be for girls and women in STEM. And actually, gender is going to be a transverse thematic for all of the groups that we'll be working on. So for us, gender has always been one of our priorities, because we have to include that 50% of the population that is not getting this information, that is not being interested, and we are you know, discarding talent without even knowing, without them even knowing that they can be part of this. So that's overall what we do. And of course, here's our general information, our social media, and that's my email for anyone who wants to contact us about these programs. I believe any of the young people listening to us right now can have you know, can find something useful for them.
Thank you very much. So if you want to reach them too, you can find here the information. Well, time to hear from our audience. We have some questions from the audience, so I'm going to let Yandy to share those questions with you.
Great, thank you, Edith. I do have a few questions for our panelists. The first one's for specifically for Mercedes. could you please repeat the educational program where you work and also a way to contact you? Before you answer, sorry, I do want to mention that we will share more information about their programs and what they mention after the series ends. So yeah, Mercedes, thank you.
Yes, I think they asking about Meteorito project. You can find more information at meteorito.mx. As I say, it's an educational program based in STEM education and create an awareness among participants of climate change. This project was created by Hacedores. This is a company that improves education using STEM and maker education, and with the US Embassy in Mexico. If you go to the website, you can check or you can learn about air temperature, atmospheric pressure, relative humidity, precipitation, and this course is free for anyone to want to take it or to want to replicate. And if you want to replicate, you can go to the website and you can also write to the contact email, and probably you going to receive an answer soon. And I think that's it.
Yeah, great, thank you. So you said,
the people can reach me in my personal Instagram or Twitter is the @cartodynamics1, and you can follow me.
great, maybe you can type those and also the website that you mentioned in the chat box, and then I will make sure to send to everyone who's still here.
Okay.
Thank you. And then a few questions. A lot of them have been asking about challenges in your professional careers. So what do you think was the biggest challenge while looking for opportunities to study abroad? Maybe Alicia, would you like to answer this question?
Yeah, there's lots of challenges. Let me see. Well, interesting. Well, yeah, when it comes to studying abroad, I guess I'm trying to think. That was a long time ago. Getting the scholarship, right? You just have to work hard on all sorts of things and get you know, the right information, get as much information as you can. I remember one of the challenges I had back then, I didn't know what the GRE test was, and I had to do that in order to move to the States and get into a PhD program. So that was actually quite challenging. I had no idea. I was very naive about it. Nobody really told me about it. So I remember going to the test without not knowing what to expect. Of course, I didn't do well, and that was really a big. I felt terrible. I was used to, you know, doing all these things that I was passionate about and always succeeding and doing well, and then all of a sudden I thought, wait a second, I can do this, and I couldn't take the test. I mean, I took the test, I did poorly, which is very frustrating, and then I learned. Right, that was my first big challenge and hurdle, I guess, and failure. It was a big deal. To me it was, but you know, you try again. I had to find out more about the test, what it was all about. I had to study. I remember getting into a class to learn how to answer the questions and so forth, and then I did it. So again, it's trying to get as much information as you can, make sure you're very well prepared to whatever you're going to do. So that's one. Another one that's really funny, because now I speak really fast and like crazy, but you have no idea how hard it was to come to the States and understand what people were saying in English. I had headaches every day for like 3 months in a row. Going home, I remember when I was working in this laboratory and I was surrounded by all these wonderful people. They were all researchers. We were doing it was a very international environment. So we all spoke English, but with all funny different accents. And it was really hard to understand each other. But I remember wanting to go to lunch, and my friends from Spain is like, "Hey, Alicia, vamos a comer, vamos a lunch." No, 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 no. I have to hang out with the Americans because I really need to understand English and be able to communicate. And that was a big deal. It was a really fun challenge, frustrating at times. But I still remember the day when I remember, I went to bed and I woke up and I had a dream and I went, wait, was that, hey, I had a dream in English. It was amazing. So that's when I knew I had crossed the barrier, right? But yeah, there's lots of things and things, so, and challenges and frustrations. But I guess my recommendation is whatever you do, you make sure you ask questions, you, again, use your networks, be as prepared as you can possibly be. And if something happens and you fail or you don't succeed at the first trial, don't you worry, no big deal. You can do it, just go ahead, fix the problem and keep moving. So yeah, there's gonna be lots of challenges and I'm sure I'll have some more, but just be positive. That's another really important thing, to be positive and have a good outlook, right, on things. That's a really, really important thing.
Great, thanks, Alicia. Now I want to ask Carolina about, is there anything that you regret or that you will say you will change from your experience of doing these programs abroad, and also about your situation where you work abroad?
No, I don't think so. I think all the time it was like my dream. So of course there are good days, there are bad days, right? That sometimes you might think, why did I do it? Or why am I here? But at the end, the result is that you got what you wanted. So the point is like, not giving up. And I think I wouldn't change anything because I know that, as we were discussing before, this is not the end for sure. So this that I'm living right now, or everything that I have been through in the past, will continue helping me to get to and to achieve more goals, right? So no, nothing.
Great, perfect, thank you. Also, this question is for Mercedes. Tell us something that you consider it has been a challenge in your professional career.
Well, I think that we are here, all of the panelists, because we are the sum of all our efforts. And I don't know, when I was a little girl, I used to have this dream to study at UNAM, the best university in Latin America. And I used to spend a lot of time there when I was a kid. So while I grow up, I have the vision of myself as a college girl, learning from the best teachers about the world. But I think the biggest challenge is in every activity that you make. I think every day is a challenge and every day is an opportunity to learn and to share and to be kind and to share with other women or to children or to men, no matter who or what. And I think we have the opportunity to make the change and to be different and to be the best, as I mentioned. And the biggest challenge, I think, it's every day, because I think I probably cried in my career and in the college or in a job, or when I was talking with my boss or former bosses. No, I don't know, but I think everything it could be difficult, but it's in our motivation, in our thoughts, that we can make the difference and be better.
Great, thank you. I do have two more questions. last question for Alicia will be if you could tell us about was it difficult to find job opportunities in the STEM fields in the US?
Actually, not so much in my case, and that's mainly because, yeah, something really weird happened with me because I was really devoted to, following the pathway of a research scientist, and at some point in my life, I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue the rest of my life doing science in a laboratory. I love science. Actually, I kind of miss doing research experiments. I haven't done that in quite some time now. But at the same time, I also had this passion about, as I was living here and I had lots of friends from different countries in Central America, for example, and from Mexico, I became very passionate and aware of what the situation was with Latinos in the US and their lack of representation in the STEM fields. So this is where I started switching gears, and I went from uh, I do love science, and I'm a scientist, and I love doing experiments and finding more about the world and how things work, the natural world. But at the same time, I just had this passion of, or mission, I guess, that I had to help others and see what STEM was like. So when it came to doing that, it was kind of scary because, as I told you earlier, I didn't know that I could do other things. So maybe, it's my training. You guys are young and things are much more different than when I was growing up. But I was trained, and as a scientist, it was like I had what are those things called, like blinds, right? Blinders. Like I only thought there was only one path, and that's something that you have to keep in mind, because that's really not the case. When you get into the STEM fields, you can do all sorts of things, and it took me a while. So it wasn't really hard getting the job itself, but it was hard. What was hard was to realize that as a scientist, I had an incredible amount of skills um, that I wasn't even aware of, right? That I had, I was able to be a critical thinker, a communicator. I could do all sorts of things, and I never thought those skills were useful, or that I could use them in some other way. And that's what it's fascinating, that science, even if you don't become a scientist or even a STEM professional, but getting into STEM and into science in some way or another, it really helps you develop all sorts of skills that will be really wonderful for your job. But anyways, I'm making a long story super long. But no, in my case, it wasn't that difficult because it was sort of like a luck type of thing. I was looking for other things to do in the science education field, but I wasn't sure how to go about it. And I came across this job, and I applied, and I got the interview, and I was really encouraged to do it, and I went for it. But it was scary. It was scary because I didn't know I was going to be able to do that. So one thing that I recommend is probably when you want to go and get a job, something that I think is actually really good, besides just saying, okay, I'm going to apply for this job and then cross your fingers and wait for a response. If you are interested in something or in some kind of job, go and talk to people. So whatever it is, find out what people do, what their job is like. And most people, it's just sometimes we don't have, we feel like, oh, I don't want to bother that person, or I want to know more about this job. Like what Carolina does in Polonia, right? You talk to people like her. I'm sure if you call her up and somebody like that, and you ask them about their job, they'll tell you what they do, what their job is like, and that will give you an idea of what kind of job you want to apply for, or and it'll make things easier. So it's a combination of just trying to apply for things that you think are interesting, but at the same time, again, getting as much information as you can about the job itself. And again, I just want to go back to the FabFems database, because it's wonderful. And again, it's not only for women, of course, but for everybody, because those women, you have no idea how many people are there with all these different fabulous STEM jobs. So, and they're there again to tell you about their stories and how they got a job and what kind of job they got, and just go through the database and see what sounds interesting. There's NASA scientists, there's all sorts of scientists and all sorts of STEM really interesting people from all over the world, and you can contact them and learn more about their job. But yeah, so just get as much information as you can, and that will make things easier. And again, I applied to all sorts of different jobs, and I didn't get some, but then I learned that getting to know people and just having what is called informational interviews really helps. You're there not to just go and apply for the job, but just to learn about what other people do in a company, at a university, whatever you're interested in. Just get a hold of those people by email and tell them, I'm really interested in what you're doing. I want to learn more about your job. Could you tell me more about it? And I can assure you 9 out of 10 people will say, yes, sure, let's talk. So
Great, thank you, Alicia. Thanks, great answer. And then this question will be for Laura. Someone's asking about Movimiento STEAM. What is the area, the field of study that is the most popular, or the one that between women it's the most popular in your organization?
Actually, we don't have like a group of women working in STEM fields or studying STEM careers. We have like this ecosystem of institutions. We have different programs for teachers. We have programs for students, but we do not have like a specific database of women. But we do have some possibilities to get to information, of course. And actually, there's this general statistics in the world about how many women are studying STEM, which is around 31% of women, and the area that is most studied is health and well-being by about 15% of women. About 8% are going to engineering, manufacture, and construction. 5% are going to math and statistics, and 3% are going to technology, information, and communications. So the one that is less liked by women is they are TICs, and the one that is most liked is medicine and the fields that are related.
Great, thank you, Laura. And sorry, I know it was the last question, but I have this last question also for Mercedes. Someone's asking, let me find the question really quick. They said, sorry, I cannot find it. This question was through our Facebook Live as well. How would you use STEM to battle bullying? This person says that has been bullied from very young age.
Okay, that's sad because I was bullied at myself when I was a kid. I think the most important thing is trust yourself. Realize that you can achieve what you want if you put your mind to it. I think it's very important to being persistent, and they bullying you now, but later the knowledge will make you feel powerful. That is the good to science, because with science you can feel powerful, and you can feel that you can share and learn and be wherever you want. So my advice is follow your dreams, be persistent, and realize that you can make whatever you want.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, Edith, we don't have any other questions for now.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. This has been an amazing panel. Thank you very much for inspiring us too. Thank you for inspiring the audience. So we really appreciate that you were able to participate today with us. Well, to our audience also, thank you very much for coming. Remember, this was the first webinar from this series. Tomorrow we will be talking about the scholarships for STEM programs in the US. I know many of the questions that we had today were related to scholarships, so don't forget to join us tomorrow where you will be able to answer those questions. This is just an example of the people and scholarships that we will be talking about tomorrow. There are some others that are going to be there too tomorrow. So please don't forget to join us. And remember that if you want more information about how to go to study to the United States, you can reach us. You can reach Education USA through any of our different channels. It could be through email, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and we will be there answering your questions and giving you assistance to pursue your dream of studying anything you want in the United States. Thank you very much, everyone. See you tomorrow. Hope. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Adios.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Adios.
Gracias.
Thank you. We see you tomorrow.